Call to order the City Council regular meeting of the City of Wyoming, Minnesota, January 7th, 2025, which is hard to believe. Let the record reflect we do have a quorum. Member Luker, Member Onstad, Member Schilling, Member Yeager, and Mayor Iverson are present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so first on the agenda is swearing in of elected mayor and council members. And who are you starting with, Rob?
Councilmember Yeager, would you like to start? That way they'll actually pick up your voice.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay.
Just go through it. Councilmember, if I can have you raise your right hand.
Too many things, and I don't, and you would think by now I would have this memorized.
All right, I got it all ready, Chris, it should be.
Okay,
I
okay. You want me to just run through it? I, Linda Nanko Yeager, do solemnly swear or affirm to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and all the laws, ordinances, and resolutions of the City of Wyoming, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duty of the office of council member for the City of Wyoming to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations, Councilmember Yeager, you're sworn in.
I, Brett Onstad, do solemnly swear to affirm to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and all the laws, ordinance, and resolutions of the City of Wyoming, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of the office of City Council member for the City of Wyoming to the best of my judgment and abilities.
Congratulations, Councilmember.
Thank you.
I'm going to repeat after you.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. All right, Mayor, if I could have you raise your right hand. And then I, Mayor Iverson, do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Mayor Iverson, do solemnly swear or affirm
to support the Constitution of the United States,
to support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
the Constitution of the State of Minnesota,
and all the laws, ordinances, and resolutions of the City of Wyoming,
and all the laws, ordinances, and resolution of the City of Wyoming,
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
of the office of Mayor for the City of Wyoming
of the office of the Mayor of the City of Wyoming
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
Congratulations, Mayor. You're officially sworn.
Thank you. All right, let's roll up our sleeves and have a great 4 years, right?
Yep.
All right, we do, if anybody wants to leave at this point in time, if you're here as a guest and swearing in, go ahead. Nope, staying, going, whatever you want to do, feel free. We're going to start with our annual meeting. Number 1, designate the official newspaper for 2025, Resolution 250101. Mr. Linwood.
It is a statutory requirement for the City of Wyoming to designate an official newspaper for the year 2025. Staff has prepared 2 different proposals from the Forest Lake Times and the Chisago County Press, and we have recommended the Chisago County Press to council. So with that, we would answer any questions for council, or if you don't have any questions, it's a motion for the official newspaper.
Okay, we'll start with Member Yeager.
None.
No questions?
No.
Okay. Member Schilling?
No questions.
Member Onstad?
No questions.
Member Luger? I have no questions. I'm glad we're going with a local newspaper in Chisago County. So happy about that. We need a motion to approve. I'll make the first. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Member Onstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Number 2, set annual fees for the city services in 2025, Resolution 250102. Mr. Linwood?
I'm going to let Mr. McFarland handle this
Nope.
one.
Honorable Mayor and members of council, each year the city annually sets its fee schedule for the year that we're coming up to here. So with it, we highlight each of the changes that have been made within the fee schedule. As you can see on your sheet, Chapter 12, cannabis retail registration, state statute updated to state that cannabis retailers are allowed within cities, and so we updated our fee schedule to show what those retail licenses would cost. Chapter 18, fire prevention and protection, we added a special event fee for fire department members attending events within the city. Chapter 20, police administration fee, we did the same thing with special events for police department members, and then I guess that one has been updated, and then the towing costs have been updated as well. Chapter 24 is the food truck license application fees. We discussed at a prior meeting, updating our city ordinance on food trucks to match state statute for requirements and length. Fee schedule then as well need to be updated to show the length of those licenses within the city. Chapter 36, utilities. Our water and surface water rates were updated to reflect the most recent utility rate study. Additionally, the water meter costs were updated for our cost to purchase, and that's a pass-through cost. Emergency call-out fees are also updated, and then the cost for hydrant meter deposits have been removed. Chapter 40, zoning. We have wetland service request escrow fees that have been updated this year. And then finally, the public works equipment fees have been updated for what they cost now this year.
Okay. All right, questions from council, starting with Member Lugar,
No questions.
Member Onstad,
No questions.
Member Schilling,
No questions?
Member Yeager.
For the fire department special events fee, will the city have to pay that fee if the fire department is at one of our events?
Is it-
All right, you have a
if
fire
it's city-
department.
It's a city event, it's a city fire department, we wouldn't charge them.
Okay. But who are you going to be charging?
If a organization would request to have fire departments on standby for an event to provide fire protection.
Like what events are there in the city?
It's
Are you
very-
going to charge like Maranatha for their tire burns?
That was one example, yes.
Okay, I don't know about charging the church, but what the heck. Any other events in the city? I mean, do you go over to Pine Haven? Does the fire department go to Pine Haven? Does the fire department go to like the pumpkin patches or?
No.
So it's just basically charging Maranatha?
If that would come up, possibly if the other event we discussed was Stop Out Suicide. For that, we would, if they would like them to stand by for that, that would be a fee as well.
Have they stood by for that event in the past?
We have, yes.
Okay. That's all I had.
All right. We need a motion to approve the annual fees for city services in 2025, Resolution 250102. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Member Lugar. We have a second by Member Schilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Number 3, designate electronic fund transfers and payments for claims. Resolution 250103. Mr. Linwood?
I will let Mr. McFarland take this one too.
Wow.
We'll send it back to
Good
me.
job.
Yeah, another annual item here with the electronic fund transfer approval. This is just something that our auditor asked that we do annually. It states that the city will pass a resolution adopting the electronic fund transfer and payment of claims resolution. Essentially gives the city administrator authorization to pay or transfer funds electronically prior to approval with the city council. It's important to note still that all those transfers will still go through claims at the relevant city council meeting. This is just important for certain situations such as with bonds to get ahead of that.
Questions from council, starting with Member Onstad,
No questions.
Member Schilling,
No questions?
Member Yeager,
No questions.
Member Lugar.
No questions.
We need a motion to approve a designatee electric fund transfer and payment for claims, Resolution 250103. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Member Onstad. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Schilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Number 4, review council appointments to boards, commissions, committees, and boards of trustees of Fire Department Volunteer Relief Association. Resolution 250104. Who's taking this one? Grant? All right.
Yep, honorable mayor, members of council. Each year, the city council appoints various members to their boards, commissions, and so forth. Exhibit A on the resolution states where each of the individuals of council will be going, whether it's acting mayor, sewer commission, so forth. In addition, then we do have one member of the planning commission, that's Katie West, who's due for renewal this year, and then same with park advisory commissioner Jessica Bergen.
Okay. All right. Has everybody had a chance to look over the appointments? We didn't make any changes, but does anybody have anything to say about that? No? All right, I will make the motion to approve council appointments for boards, commissions, committees, and boards of trustee for Fire Department Volunteer Relief Association, Resolution 250104. We need a second.
Second.
Second by member Schilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Number 5, designate official depository for city funds for 2025, Resolution 250105. Mr. McFarland. Yay!
Each of the city council designates the depository where we'll be handling our banking with the city. Again, we do this annually, so this year we're looking at, and past years as well, I should say. We have the First Name Bank of Wyoming, Minnesota, with the Prudent Man Advisors and 4M Fund. Pretty standard for what we do here.
Okay, sounds great. Questions from Member Yeager?
No.
Member Luker? Member Onstead?
No questions.
Member Schilling?
No questions.
All right, we need a motion to approve Resolution 250105. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion by Member Luker. Do I hear a second from
Second.
Member Onstead? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Number 6, elect an acting mayor to serve in the absence of the mayor during the 2025 year, Minnesota State Statute 412.121. Currently, we have the same as last year, so Member Luker, does anybody want to make any other nominations for that?
No, I think it's perfect the way it is.
Okay.
Fastest council meeting on record.
Oh my gosh.
Things to do.
Really? No, it really was, actually.
Yeah, it was.
So, all right, I'll make a motion to approve Member Luker as the acting mayor to serve in the absence of the mayor during 2025. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Member Schilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Number 7, establishing a 2025 regular meeting night of the City Council of the City of Wyoming and establishing budget calendar for 2026 budget. Mr. McFarland.
This item is just to set the meeting dates that we'll be having with the city council. We meet on the first and third Tuesday of every single month. The item does include all the dates that are proposed to meet with the city council. We do bold the ones if they do fall on a holiday or an event, in which case we would move the city council for. There's only one this year, that's August 6th. Originally it was scheduled to be August 5th, but that is night to night, so we then proposed August 6th, the Wednesday following. In addition, then there's also the 2026 budget process calendar. We've recently then been doing these on work session nights as well, and the calendar there as well goes more in depth on that. But each of the dates is on there for 2025. Did you have something to add?
Just one thing, we'll continue to, we had school board elections last year, so we don't anticipate that. We don't have caucus this year, but if there were any kind of special election, staff will keep just alert on that to make sure if we were to have to move a meeting because of that on the election day. But we don't anticipate that right now in regards to the 3 school districts that are in Wyoming, but we'll keep council up to speed on that if it were to change.
Perfect. I'm just going to ask this. Any questions on the calendars? Seeing none, we need a motion to approve the 2025 regular meeting nights of the City Council of the City of Wyoming and the budget calendar for the 2026 budget. Do we have a first?
So moved.
We have a first by Member Schilling. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Onstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. All right, so open forum. Do we have anybody here for open forum? No? Okay. We'll move on to approval of minutes. Number 8, consider approving the minutes of the regular meeting of the Wyoming, Minnesota City Council for December 17th, 2024. If there are no questions or changes, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Member Luker. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Schilling. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Number 9, consider approving the minutes of the work session of the Wyoming, Minnesota City Council for December 17th, 2024. If there are no questions or comments, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion to approve by Member Schilling. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Luker. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Consent agenda number 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Does anybody wish to pull an item from the consent agenda? Seeing none, we need a motion to approve the consent agenda 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by member Schilling. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by member Luger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Moving on to acknowledge receipts of reports of officers, boards, commissions, and department heads. Number 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Does a council member wish to pull anything for further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Number 20, to consider the hiring of Rebecca Peterson for the police officer position with a tentative start date of January 12th, 2025. Chief Bauer?
Yes, Mayor Evison, members of council. This is one of two of the positions we're going to be looking at approving this evening. As you know, we've had 2 vacant positions for a period of time, and that hiring process that we've had throughout the last year identified Ms. Rebecca Peterson as an excellent applicant or candidate for this position. She has a good background in security and community service. She's worked for a security company actually at a university in Minneapolis for several years. That she provided security for students, faculty, visitors of the university. She's shown a long-term commitment to the city of Wyoming as a reserve, which is a volunteer position, and then most recently as a reserve cadet. As you remember, this reserve cadet program offers tuition reimbursement to future police officer applicants, and she took advantage of that opportunity, and that's kind of the idea, is that we're able to can make those connections and continue moving them forward in their desire to become an officer. She has degrees in early childhood education and in theater, which I'm really curious to see how that's going to play out. As I read that, I was like, that could be fun. Her hands-on experience in security and community-oriented roles makes her a really good fit for our department and our community. She completed all the required education, and she completed the screening and testing for the police officer position, recommending that she begins at $37.72 hour, which is the starting rate in the Wyoming Police Officer Contract Collective Bargaining Unit, and with an effective start date of January 12th of this year.
Chief Bauer, I'll start with one question. I have talked with Ms. Peterson a lot.
Yeah.
How long has she been with the city in terms of volunteering and all that?
Right. If I remember correctly, it's been just over 2 years. Last year was with the cadet program, and then she was the volunteer prior to that.
It's great when the state has a program and we're able to utilize it and people take advantage of it.
Yeah, this is
So,
great.
yep. So that's all my questions. We'll start with Member Schilling,
No questions.
Member Yeager,
No questions.
Member Onstad,
No questions.
Member Luger.
No questions.
All right, we need a motion to approve the hiring of Rebecca Peterson for the police officer position with a tentative start date of January 12th, 2025. I'll make the first. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Member Onstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Number 21, to consider hiring of Joseph Vang for the police cadet temporary position with a tentative start date of January 13th, 2025. Chief Bauer?
Actually, there's an update that
Oh.
went out on this.
Oh.
It is going to be for the actual police officer position, not the cadet position.
Oh,
This
great.
was minute by minute. Unbelievable, the number of people that were involved in making this happen. Hennepin Tech, the program director out there on the week off over the holidays, helped me out with this to get this done. It's been pretty incredible, so
You were
thank
waiting
you.
for that certificate or something? There was
Yeah, there was
the
many
certificate or-
things had to fall into place to allow him to take the test.
Yeah.
And I'll run through his bio here, but I'm very appreciative of all those that helped out to make this happen. So, like I mentioned, we had 2 vacant positions, and Mr. Joseph Vang was identified through a hiring process, and he was given a conditional offer of employment. The only thing that is hanging out there still is the final certification test, which he will take tomorrow morning. That was the absolute soonest. We were looking initially at like February, so this was amazing that it came together. He has incredible experience from both military and his roles as a community service officer with the city of Blaine. He served in the U.S. military and the U.S. Army, where he gained experience in leadership, discipline, and problem solving in some really high-pressure situations. He was deployed to Baghdad, Iraq. and worked in a lot of different environments there. Currently, he is a community service officer with the city of Blaine, doing law enforcement, supporting law enforcement, engaging with the community in that role. He has a degree in law enforcement from the North Hennepin Community College as of today. He is fluent in both English and Hmong, and which that provides him ability to effectively communicate with a wide variety of community members. His experience in both the military and community service officer make him a great fit for our department. Like I mentioned, he takes the final test tomorrow morning. And once that's the only thing that's left, but we wanted to make sure this got before council so we could start him the same time as the previous candidate here. Recommending that he starts at $30,7072, the same rate, and with a start date of January 13th.
Perfect. Okay, questions from council. We'll start with Member Onstad.
I just assume that he's starting the day later, the seniority has been worked out,
Yes,
but other than that, no questions.
I usually would default for current or volunteers or employees to get seniority, so that was why that was determined that way.
Okay, thank you.
Member Luger.
So are we fully staffed now?
Yes.
Don't.
Yeah.
There we go. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. No questions.
It's been a while, yes.
It's been a
We'll just
minute.
leave it
Well,
at that, right?
let's wait. I need 5 votes, yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. Okay, let's see. Member Yeager?
All right, so if our vacancies will both be filled, what are we going to do with the gentleman who's already a cadet, who we hired with the expectation of making him a police officer
Correct.
come April 1st?
Yep, which I believe I've addressed previously, that we'd be pre-hiring for one of the retirements this year.
Do we have, has a formal retirement date been set for one of both, for the sergeants?
I can't ask that. If they would like to
You don't
provide
have
that, they
anything
could.
in writing, so
No.
we don't know if there will be a retirement.
They both have given me that indication that they will retire this year.
But you don't have anything in writing.
Nope, and we've addressed this, I believe, in work sessions prior to this as well.
Yeah, I've heard that. You know, personally, I'm not comfortable offering this gentleman a position when we should have the cadet take the position. And most of it's because I'm not comfortable hiring an extra officer when we don't even know if there's going to be a vacancy. I mean, we don't have anything in writing, we have indications, and I've heard this since what, 2023, 24? It's been talked about for years, but I don't see anything in writing or anything formal. As much as I would love to have Mr. Vang, I think it would be a disservice to the cadet to keep him strung along as what, a cadet or an extra, or just having an extra officer that we didn't budget for?
The cadet position, that was the understanding, that would be hired for retirement. That would be a decision that council could make at that time, when I bring that forward at that point.
Oh, you would, at April 1st, you would ask to hire the gentleman, the cadet, as a police officer, which would be basically a temporary expansion of the department until such time there is a vacancy or a retirement.
That's correct.
Yeah, I'm not totally comfortable with this.
Okay. Member Schilling?
Claire actually took my question, but I will address it this way based on Linda's comments as well. How long have we had these positions open?
I'd have to do some significant bar charting to figure out what person left.
Yeah.
So my concern, I have the same concerns as well, but I have spoke with one of the two, and I know the intent is there, but it's not a date, but I'm comfortable with that just based on the fact that we have not had full positions and we've had them budgeted for, so I don't really see it as a financial impact if it does cross over in that event that happens. So, but that was my only concern, so.
Perfect. Okay.
I'd like to just,
Sure. Go ahead.
when these 3 people come on, or 2 people right now,
Yes.
there's gonna be they're not going straight on the street, there's gonna be a training period, I would assume.
Yeah, they're not ready on their own until June.
So it's, even if we hire one in April, it might be 6 months before they actually are patrolling on their own.
It's all of 5
Correct.
months, absolutely.
Yeah, so that almost brings it out to October-ish, I believe.
If he's hired in April, which is still going to be a challenge, because we only have 4 officers that can train. So hiring 2 is already difficult.
Yep.
To get them trained, because they have to train full-time then for those 5 months.
So this creates a good buffer.
It is already going to be challenging with,
Yep.
but we have to do it,
Yep.
yes.
Chief Bauer, with the senior officers, do they help train the newer officers and kind of, I know when we have a new employee, kind of, we bring them in and, you know, there's the training, there's getting to know people and that sort of thing. Is that what our senior officers do as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, so having all that experience is probably very beneficial to the new cadets or the new police officers coming on, correct?
Yeah, that's that organizational knowledge and the experience that's being passed along, yes.
So if we were to hire somebody after the retirement, or retirements plural, they're not gonna get that same kind of knowledge, if you will, from, I mean, there'll still be knowledge from some of our other officers, but there is that knowledge of people that have been here for a long time.
That's correct.
Okay, all right, I will make the motion to
So,
hire.
Mayor Iverson,
Yeah.
I think that the motion should be contingent upon the gentleman passing the test. I
Oh,
know that
yes.
that's
Okay.
likely a job requirement, but I think
Do we
part of the
have that in
motion should be
there?
the hiring will be contingent.
Is it,
Yep, it's in the
It's in the resolution.
recommendation.
but it's, do I
Was
not
it not
have the
on the
right one?
motion?
It's not on the motion, but
Okay.
we can
So just
add
add it
that.
to the motion
Yep.
for procedural.
Sure.
Okay, so, contingent on his passing.
Completion
not
of the
the bar.
Minnesota
The
Peace
certification
Officer
exam is fine, yeah.
It's a license, isn't it?
Yes. Right.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna make a motion to hire, the hiring of of Joseph Bang for the police officer position contingent on his completion of, his passing of the licensor test that's coming up tomorrow, with a tentative start date of January 13th, 2025. Does that suffice, Mr. Lunan? Okay, I'll make that motion, so do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Onstad, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
So approved. 22, to consider hiring of Vincent Schilling for the building inspector position with a tentative start date of January 27th, 2025. Mr. Weck, is that you?
Yes, Mayor. Madam Mayor and council members, Mr. Schilling has been selected as our top candidate. He's received a 2-year building inspection technology certificate from North Hennepin. He had a 6-month building inspection internship with the city of Blaine, and he's been working as a building inspector for Rum River Construction Consultants, doing building inspections and plan review in multiple jurisdictions. He holds certification with the state of Minnesota as a building official limited, and holds a building inspector 1 certification with the International Code Council. They're the ones that write the code. Based on his qualifications, wage history, and work experience, I'm recommending starting Vincent Schilling's wage at step 3 of the position scale at $36.81 per hour, with a 6-month probationary period per the City of Wyoming personnel policy. There's a tentative start date of January 27th, 2025.
Okay, we will start with questions from Member Onstad,
No questions.
Member Luker,
No questions.
Member Yeager.
The one obvious question, is he related?
Yes, he is my son, so I'll be abstaining from this.
Okay, you guys are cool with nepotism.
That's, I have an issue with the word nepotism. He
Yeah,
is
that's
he
what it
is, well, you keep going with your question if you have one.
Well, no, all right, so now okay. I know in the past we've hired the grandchildren of council members. This okay, Mr. Luna?
Minnesota law allows us to make the hire as long as an interested family member, in this case, Councilmember Schilling, discloses the relationship and recuses himself from the discussion and the vote.
Okay,
So he can't participate. It's ultimately up to the other 4 of you if the hire is going to make.
okay, so then in the future, because I know we had a problem with this in the past, when, right, like, last meeting we talked, when we gave raises to the non-union employees, would Councilmember Schilling be able to vote on a motion like that because the raise would affect his son?
As long as his son is an employee of the city, Councilmember Schilling will have to recuse himself from any vote relating to that employment, including salary or any benefits or anything that may relate to his son's employment with the city.
Okay. Because I know when we talked, when this came up before, there were kind of like two answers that came. First it was recusal, then it was okay, and so.
Correct. The law is very clear on this. It's permitted as long as the family member recuses themselves. There's really no second answer. Under Minnesota statute, this is permitted. Just any decisions relating to this employee, Councilmember Schilling will have to recuse.
Okay.
So, Mr. Weck,
Yeah,
we've had this position open for how long?
since August.
Okay. And how many approximately interviews have you done?
6 or 7 this time around. I was going to raise my hand, Madam Mayor. I too was concerned about at least the perception of nepotism. Vincent has been the best person I've interviewed since I started as building official. To be perfectly honest with you, he's been the best candidate I've ever had to interview. So, so again, like I said, I was concerned about that too, but I'm not concerned, with his experience and knowledge. I was very impressed.
Yeah.
So.
And so let me ask you this, obviously, did Member Schilling have anything to do with bringing forward this candidate to you?
No, he did not.
Okay. And so at any point in time, did Mr. Schilling talk to you about his?
I talked to Mr. Schilling.
Okay.
And actually asked him to have his son apply.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Because so the reason why you did that was because?
Well, because we need candidates for one.
True. We do. You're right.
Yes. And he has experience, and he's young, so I thought it'd be a good chance, and he lives in the area, so.
Yeah.
So again, having someone that's from the area, that may not leave after a year like the last 3 people did. And I'm looking at retirement and hoping to have someone that I can train in before I leave, so.
Yeah. Okay. Those were the answers or questions I was looking for. So, all right, did I get everybody? You can't. So, okay, so we need a motion to hire Vincent Schilling for the building inspector position with a tentative start date of January 27, 2025. I will make that motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Member Onstad. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So approved. Number 23, to consider a city council work session on January 21st, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. Mr. Linwood or Mr. McFarland?
Be myself, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Just as the state licensing of cannabis draws closer and things keep kind of evolving and changing, we think it would be pertinent just to kind of give council the latest and greatest that the Office of Cannabis Management is giving us. We also will have our city attorney, Mr. Lunan, present to kind of advise the council in regards to some of the changes that we're seeing and things that just keep on coming before we potentially will see retail sales in the city. So we just like to give an opportunity to share that with council and go through that. So we just like to have a work session prior to our next council meeting at 5:30.
Does that work for everybody?
Yeah. Mr. Linwood, has anybody expressed interest in setting up shop here?
We have had individuals contact us saying that they are interested, checking to see if we had, essentially ordinances in place. That probably started 6 months ago, to be honest, but I don't think we've had anything, I guess, where, they have a lease or a spot picked out or et cetera, but, essentially what like I said, as this continues to evolve, we probably could see people on our doorstep per se, even in March. So it's going to be coming. But like I said, with some of the changes and speaking with Mr. Lunan, we thought it'd be pertinent just to kind of go through some of those things prior to that.
All right, we need a motion to approve a city council work session on January.
Mayor,
Yeah.
I
sorry.
might not make this. I have a jury trial that day, and I know we are slated for the late afternoon. So.
Okay, well, we'll make it work.
Yes, I
Okay.
just wanted you to be aware.
Thank you.
I will keep you guys
That's perfect.
apprised of
All
what's
right,
going
thank
on,
you.
so.
So we need a motion to approve the council work session on January 21st, 2025 at 5:30 PM before our council meeting. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by member Luker. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by member Onstad. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. We'll do council reports. We'll start with member Luker.
I have no report. Thank you all for attending.
Okay, and member Onstad?
I attended the Park Advisory Commission meeting last night.
Member Schilling?
Happy New Year to everybody, and congratulations to our sworn-in members. And thank you for those that came in. Have a great night.
Great, and member Yeager?
No report. Thank you for coming, and thank you all for watching.
All right, I just have one thing. We started the meeting of the state elected officials today. Mr. Linwood spent the morning with the House DFL. Senate this morning, okay? And this afternoon, I was able to also attend the Senate GOP. We've got tomorrow and the next night, and it's all about really talking to these elected officials about how important our public safety building is, why we need it, and why we need the help. And I think it went really well today. So several of the elected officials remembered us in a good way, I felt. So I felt in a good way, so. All right, and again, Happy New Year's to everybody, and congratulations on your election wins, and looking forward to a great next 4 years. So with that, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh, everybody's excited to get out. So I have a motion to adjourn by member Schilling and a second by member Luker. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned, 7:36.